Hi there, and welcome to the video training on in-case accounts, urgency funds versus emergency funds. My name is Charlie Jewett. I'm a national author and a speaker and a podcast host, and devoted my life really to sort of confronting the financial services industry and helping consumers and advisors to see clearly and find the truth. It's my belief, and it's what I teach. You really don't need an advisor as much as you need clarity. You need a windshield. You need to be able to see clearly, because when you see clearly, you make wise decisions. And that's why you have not run over very many people this year in your car. Hopefully, you haven't run over any people this year in your car. So let's get over to the whiteboard here and jump right into this. Okay, so today's this particular teaching is going to be called urgency. No, we're going to do in case accounts, urgency funds versus emergency funds. Now, this is part of the retirement plan that never fails process. Now, what's the retirement plan that never fails as a review? The retirement plan that never fails says you need three types of money. When you get to retirement, or as you're approaching or preparing for retirement, you need to have three types of money in your life. In case accounts, that's your emergency fund money. Income accounts. By definition, when you retire, you lose an income, or at least the income drops down to Social Security plus pensions. That's the whole reason you saved. So you can watch the income accounts video to learn how to handle that problem, how to solve for how to buy pension paychecks, how to create guaranteed income for life, things like that. In this video, we're going to talk about the in-case accounts versus income and increase. Now, in-case accounts are in case something happens in your life. So let's take a look at something simple here first. A lot of people just leave money sitting in the bank. So if you have money sitting in the bank, it's going to look something like this. You've got money sitting here in the bank, and how much are the banks paying right now? I'm recording this as of, I think, it's 2017, so April 2017. Right now, how much money are the banks paying? Are they paying 4% up here? Probably not. Are they paying, 2% right here? Nope, they're definitely not paying 7. You're lucky today to find even 1% if the banks will pay that, and you have to go to an internet bank. So if you have $50,000, and hopefully they'll just erase that. Oh, let me bring the picture back in. Hey, good, there it is. Erase that. Erase that. If you're getting even 1% on your accounts, which is hard to do, and you have $50,000 in your emergency funds. Now, what do I tell people to put into emergency funds, or what do we teach? I say think of the most expensive non-medical emergencies that you could come up with. Replacing a car, replacing a roof. Probably the most expensive non-medical emergency would be if a giant picked up your car and threw it through your roof, and you had to replace both of those, which is never going to happen. But the reason I say non-medical emergencies is that the places that you can put money to create income or to create safe growth that's not the market, those places typically have some type of surrender penalty. However, if you go into a nursing home, or if you find that you're terminally ill, they waive those surrender penalties. So we're not really worried about the medical emergencies, which is truly when somebody would want to spend a lot of money trying to save their lives. I'm talking about non-medical emergencies. Your emergency fund needs to cover things like a washing machine breaking, or car repairs, or a flood in your home. So if you had to replace your car or both cars and your roof at the same time, a lot of people, over my 12 years and 1,000 financial plans, a lot of people have picked something in the $50,000 to $100,000 range that they want to be able to get their hands on no matter what happens. Okay, so at 1%, if you have $50,000, 5 years later you have 52,000. 10 years later you have 54, you have 57. It's growing pretty slowly. If we can crank that up just a little bit, if we can get you up to 3%, now we're at 56, 65, $75,000. What's that? Fully 17,000 more dollars by just raising it by 2%. That's what it costs you to not be earning interest on their money. Now, there are places to put money where it's still liquid, where over a certain time frame it has earned 6 or 7%, sometimes looking back 20 or 30 years. It's not the banks, and that's kind of what this teaching is about. But if you can earn 6% over 15 years and have $113,000 instead of 57, that makes a big difference in your life and helps you keep up with inflation. All right, so let me get rid of this, and then we'll show you the rest of this. So we want to get your money growing. I want to teach you how to get emergency fund money growing. Now, I still do use the banks, and the advisor who gave you this video is going to suggest that you do put some money in the bank, but this is just money that you need access to instantly. Drive up window convenience, ATM style. Maybe maybe 5,000, maybe 10,000, maybe 20,000, but whatever you need to get instantly, that's fine. That can just be your urgency fund. So that really is the banks. I'm talking about the lion's share of the money. Where do we put everything after setting $10,000, $20,000 aside in the banks? Well, let's take a look at a couple of places that you can put it. You can use single premium life insurance contracts. Now that sounds strange unless you understand that banks and insurance companies compete for the same dollars. In a sense, they're both doing the same exact thing, trying to get people to give them money and put it on deposit with them, paying a lower interest, and then they go earn a higher interest by lending it out or investing in bonds, or they do different things. But insurance companies and banks are competing for the same dollars. So the insurance companies have gotten smart. They've created products to compete with bank money, where money's just sitting there in cash doing absolutely nothing. So here's an example of a real single premium life insurance policy with no penalties. So no penalties whatsoever. The money remains completely liquid the entire time. 2 weeks into it, my client could have taken the money back. 2 months into it, they could have taken the money back. After 12 months, though, there's some earnings. If you've watched our other trainings, you might understand how indexing works, or indexed products. Once a year, typically, they pay you your interest. So if you cancel before 12 months, you might not get it. But if you cancel after 12 months, you get paid. So this is where I put, and where we put as a group, our emergency fund money for our clients. You leave a little bit in the bank, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, but the lion's share, the big chunk of money that's only if your roof breaks, or if your car breaks, or if some kid has a horrible emergency and you have to come up with $40,000 to rescue them or whatever. This is where we put our liquid cash. Let me first come down here and draw your attention to what it earned in 1 year. Now we split the money up into two separate places, kind of two separate accounts. Half of the money made 9%, half of the money made 16.67%. It is not going to do that every year. All we're trying to do is put money in a place where it can earn a rate of return, and I'm going to show you an example of when it doesn't. But just giving the money a chance to make a rate of return instead of leaving it in the bank is really the name of the game. If we can keep the same liquidity, meaning you can get your money out with no penalties, yet give it a chance to earn a rate of return, if the stars line up, all of a sudden we have an improvement. Now, this is an insurance policy. It's a single premium insurance policy. The person put in $31,915. There's a face amount. That means death benefit. She actually bought a life insurance policy, and it actually goes up. It went up to $91,000. If this person died, her family would get between $66,000 and $91,000, depending on when she passed away. So there is life insurance, which means we have expenses. Okay? So yes, this person made 16.67 on half the money and 9 on the other half, but there are some expenses. Well, all that matters is how does this all shake out in the end as far as her cash. Here's how it works. Any time in the first 12 months, she could have canceled and walked away with $31,915. That was the premium. There's a full return of premium feature, and that's what you need to know about what we're going to present to you. These are return of premium products. Yes, annuities and life insurance have surrender penalties. This product even has a surrender penalty, and we just teach you how to avoid it. But what return of premium means in this industry is you can always have the money you put in back whenever you want. Well, getting the money you put in back, even 11 months later, is almost exactly the same as leaving it in the bank and making what they're paying you right now, 0.2%, 1%, whatever. But what actually happened to this person's money? They made such good returns that even after the costs, ending cash surrender value, this is a really important piece to see right here. If this person wanted to walk away today, they put in less than 32,000, after 1 year could walk away with $35,617. Now, what type of a rate of return is that? Is that good? Is that bad? What do we know? Well, I don't know. Just go to your calculator. Okay. Hopefully this comes up. This is a new laptop that I'm just getting to know, so hopefully things will go well here. 35,617, I think it was, minus 31,915, I think it was. So she could walk away with 3702 in profits, divided by what she put in. That's an 11.6% rate of return. Are you making 11.6% on your bank accounts right now? Pause for dramatic effect. No, it's not even an advanced strategy. It's just anybody who's studied the products and is telling you the truth and being honest, trying not to steer you into mutual funds because that's what they make money on. If you're just being honest about the three types of money, in case accounts, income accounts, and increase accounts, you'll end up with the same conclusion that we did. You can put the bulk of your emergency fund money somewhere where it at least has a chance of making great returns. One of these strategies makes the first 9% of the S&P 500. The other one can make 3% per month if the S&P goes up 12 months in a row. That means it could make up to 36%, and that's for liquid, hear me out, liquid cash that you can always get back with no penalties anytime you want to. That sounds pretty good. And guess what? It is very good. Now, does the market always go up, or do you always earn more than the expenses? The answer is no. And understood properly, you have to understand when you leave the money in the bank doing absolutely nothing, or you have a bunch of money sitting inside of a brokerage account just sitting in cash or the money market, that's only paying, at the recording of this video, 0.5% to 1%. So take a look at this example. This person at the end of the year, they had an 8% cap. The way the market moved, the way it went up, it only went up 1.56%. Well, the first 1.56% goes to them. There's a cap. That means the most they can make is 8. So they were credited 1.56, but at their age, the cost of carrying the insurance had more expenses than the interest that was credited. So what does that mean for this person? That means they put in $70,000. Anytime they wanted to, they could walk away. They could cancel and walk away with the full $70,000. At the end of the year, because they didn't make more than the costs, it's exactly the same. $70,000 stayed liquid all year, ended up being worth $70,000. That is not that much different than the banks. The banks might have given you $700 and you have to pay taxes on it because it's taxed as earned. People with very little risk, and when I say risk, I don't mean risk of losses. It's just all you're doing is risking what you could have earned at the banks. With very little risk, you can give yourself a chance to let your cash grow at 5, 10, 15%. Now, one more example. If you have a large amount of money and you are, certainly if you're younger than 50, we're going to use this tool. But if you have a large amount of money, like $100,000 or more, there's another tool. You can't do it with small amounts of money, but there's another single premium life insurance contract competing in this space. I'd never put 10,000 here. I'd never do 50. I'd never do, 55. But we get up into the 60, 70, $100,000 range. This one has actually it's down to 2.5%. So this illustration I'm showing is 3, but it's actually down to 2.5. What you want to see here is this person put in $240,000. No matter what happens, every single possible scenario, the worst case scenario, insurance company raised the cost of insurance, there's no market earnings, no matter what, you can always get back more than you put in, but it's been earning 6.71. Compounding your cash at 6 or 7% will give you so much more money than leaving it in the bank. It's a better bank account, folks. I hope that helps.